Lights out in Hollywood. The Screen Actors Guild's approximately 160,000 members are on strike, likely bringing production to a halt for some of your favorite TV shows and most anticipated movies. As Ivan Rodriguez reports, they are joining members of the Writers Union who've been striking since May.
Actors hitting the picket line Friday, going on strike against television shows and movie productions for the first time since 1980.
We are being victimized by a very greedy entity.
The SAG-AFTRA strike crippling a TV and movie business already limping during the Writers Guild of America's strike. Both guilds are upset over compensation in the streaming era.
There's a whole middle class of writers and actors that is disappearing because they're making it more and more difficult to just make a living.
Along with better pay, actors say residuals for past work have been dried up since the rise of streaming services. Concerns about artificial intelligence are another sticking point in negotiations. Studios say they've offered the highest % increase in minimum pay in 35 years.
There's a level of expectation that they have that is just not realistic. And they are adding to a set of challenges that this business is already facing.
For viewers, the impacts on their screens could be felt by the end of the year.
The movie productions will shut down. TV productions have shut down. Many have already shut down because of the writer's strike. So we're going to see, season premieres happening much later.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
And as luck would have it, we are joined now by Washington Post features reporter Samantha Cherry about the actor and writer strikes. Samantha, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I want to talk about where we are in this strike. Do you see any hope that this is going to end anytime soon?
So honestly, it is, very up in the air on when this is going to end. If we look at some previous strikes, they've lasted some months long. The last time the SAG and AFTRA went on strike together was in 2000, and it lasted about 5 months long, and it was one of the longest entertainment strikes in history. So it really is up in the air when this will end and when the actors will be able to make an agreement with studios.
We just did a little story on it that ABC had about some of the things that are at play here. But when we talk about things like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and even Apple, all of these streaming services that are out there and they're putting out their own movies, is that at the heart of what this strike is about, that these writers and actors in support of these writers are saying they're not getting compensated fairly for their work?
That's correct. Yes. So in the streaming era, the seasons are shorter and there's more, there's more time where actors and writers aren't able to work. And so what they're really asking for is compensation that can match, the more traditional era of TV and movies. So at the heart of it is, getting more compensation and also regulating the use of artificial intelligence so that they're able to, continue and in this profession and continue to have it be sustainable.
And when you say limit the use of artificial intelligence, Samantha, you're talking about basically having AI write scripts and do actors' voices and things like that?
Yes, things like that. So as the contracts were before, they didn't really have any sort of regulations on how to basically use AI, whether it would be used for, helping writers draft scripts, or whether it would be used to have actors have their digital likeness be, duplicated through artificial intelligence. So both of the writers and actors unions are trying to work into the contract so that, there are ground rules set in place so that, a lot of their concerns is that artificial intelligence will, try to take over their jobs and or that studios will try to use it to kind of cut costs in using that over their own artistry.
Samantha, I've read some of the articles that you've done and some of your colleagues at the Washington Post, and I saw that a lot of these big studio heads like Bob Iger that you just heard, who's the head of Disney, which owns ABC, which is our affiliate here at KSAT12, has said we've given the biggest raise that writers have ever been, we've offered that, the biggest raise that writers have ever been offered in the history. and that's not enough. Is that what it seems on the surface, or, I mean, is that kind of couched in different ways when you talk about a big raise that's been offered?
So, from the writers and actors' perspective, what they're saying is that it's not enough because of how short their work time has become, and then having to make that money kind of stretch thin in terms of paying for like their insurance and the other costs that come in terms of like paying their publicist. And so from their perspective, they're saying that they need these raises to be more to be able to account for things like inflation and, having these, shorter term, gig type work that they've been doing.
I saw that some of the actors that were actually on the red carpet, I think it was the premiere of Oppenheimer or something that was playing, left the red carpet immediately to join the actors' strike, the writers' strike. Does this change the game, having the actors join the writers in this whole thing?
Absolutely. So with the writer's strike, which has been going on since the beginning of May, the actors were still able to work with, whatever pre-written scripts were made in production. But without actors, any, television show or movie that was currently filming, with any sort of scripted program, they now don't have any performers to even do what it was left of the script. So this effectively has, shut down most of the entertainment industry. And so, with this, we'll really see more of a delay in, depending on where different productions are in terms of when they actually do premiere.
Last question for you, Samantha, before we let you go. I know it's a Friday. You have big plans. I appreciate you joining us. But let's talk about what this means. What has to happen before something changes in this whole thing? Is Netflix or Hulu or Amazon, do they have to see subscribers go away before they move on this whole thing?
Yes. So one thing that is interesting that's different from this strike versus previous strikes is that, we do have like these very big studios. They have revenue coming in from many different places. So they can kind of hold on a little bit longer in terms of, still having revenue coming in without having to rely on the work of actors and writers. But, in the months to come, they will start seeing the pinch in their profits. And, maybe that will make them more amenable to seeing the writers and actors' demands. So, when that exactly will be is really up in the air. But, it'll just be, in months to come, just like monitoring it and seeing how the negotiations will go.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the studios are banking on the writers running out of money in this strike and not working. So it's a back and forth. Samantha Cherry with the Washington Post. She's the features reporter. Great writer that I have read on following some of this and the ins and outs and just what it means for all of us. Samantha, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. The news around America now, big funding cuts at the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC. Some of the effects could be felt at the state and local level. The CDC is set to lose about $1.3 billion as a result of last month's federal debt ceiling negotiation. The money initially allocated through COVID-19 supplemental funding. The cuts will directly impact state and local health departments. For example, a grant funding disease intervention specialist across the country was one of the first things to go. The last 2 years of the 5-year grant were slashed. That's more than $400 million. The White House announcing $39 billion in student debt relief. The Biden administration says 804,000 borrowers will have their student debt wiped away in the coming weeks. It's due to an administrative fix that more accurately counts qualified monthly payments. There are currently several different kinds of income-driven repayment plans for federal student loan borrowers. The plans base payments on a borrower's income and family size, regardless of their total outstanding debt. After reaching a set of forgiveness thresholds of 20 or 25 years, a borrower's remaining balance is then wiped away. Adam, 102 degrees out there, cooling off slowly but surely, which is weird to say cooling off to 102.
Isn't that crazy that we say that? Hey, it's not 105 anymore. We're 102 the temperature at the moment. Highs today all across our area feeling the heat. Del Rio topped out at 108. Pleasanton 103, New Braunfels 106. We're going to have more of this and talk about which records are likely to fall and even take a little trip, show you where you could go to get into some much cooler air in just a bit.
It's a conversation Adam Caskey and I have been having over the last few days. Where would you go if you wanted to cool off? I say Cut Bank.
Cut Bank,
Montana.
Yeah, Cut Bank. That's on the map. We're going to take a little trip up into Canada as well.
Okay.
And you think Canada's supposed to be cold. Well, it's summer. It's July. Canada gets warm, but we do have some actual below average air that's moving into parts of the Great Lakes and parts of the U.S. Let's get right to it. Take a look at Texas. Many triple digits on the map. El Paso, 105, along with San Angelo, Dallas, 103. Remember, it's July, so 87 Chicago, their average is 85. You get to Minneapolis, 72, up into International Falls, 78. There's that Cut Bank at 78 degrees. And we've got the heat high over the western U.S. and even, of course, Texas as well, under the influence of that. But let's go farther to the north. 60s in parts of Canada. Now, Canada also has some 80s as well, 70s and 80s, but 60s here in central Canada. The 43 Chester or 48 Chesterfield, 43 Churchill likely being influenced by their proximity to Hudson Bay. But this is a cooler than average air mass, a little upper level circulation here, counterclockwise circulation. I would argue actually it's a little element of the polar vortex, which does exist in the summertime in small amounts, but it's always up there. Just a little version of it here, obviously not as intense as it is in the wintertime, but that's going to pull some of that cooler air southward into the Great Lakes area. So I was looking at Chicago, and early next week they'll be in the upper 70s with full sunshine. That's because that cooler air, if we have the heat high, I'm going to call this the cool low. That's going to be moving into the Great Lakes area, so they'll have some below average temperatures despite full sunshine. So a little break from July heat for them. Obviously, we don't get that break. We're not so fortunate around here. Our temperature trend keeps us above 100 for highs for at least the next 7 days. No relief in sight, anywhere from 103 to 105. Heat indices, I think at worst up to 110. Generally 105 to 109, I think will be the heat index values. Now let's take a look. This is Weather Authority radar, but what we can also do with this is take a look at the Saharan dust. So it's not the radar that actually spots the dust, but this technology that we have in the system uses the satellite data and the model data to look at the Saharan dust. And we don't have any overhead right now, but in the days ahead, the bulk of it's still going to be out to sea, and we could get clipped by little bits of it here and there. I think along the Gulf Coast this weekend, and then Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, we could get clipped by a little bit of dust. But you see the real noticeable dust is going to stay away from us and really be over the Caribbean next week as well. So the haze we have right now is just typical summertime haze. We really don't have any dust in the air, and we won't have significant amounts. Some people might notice a little bit of an extra haze at times next week. Tomorrow, well, just like today, 104, the high temperature. Here we go again. Record high likely tomorrow, Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday. Records should be tied or broken.
We'll always have Cut Bank. The Buzz up next. You know, I hear about Gerber and I think of my coworker Tim Gerber, but we're going to talk about Gerber babies right now. The 2023 Gerber baby comes from Colorado. Madison Mendoza of Colorado is the winner of the 13th annual photo search contest. Look at her. She's almost 10 months old. The company says Mendoza has a joyful spirit and captivating expression. Maddie's parents were high school sweethearts. They've been together for 22 years. Her father, Juan, a lieutenant colonel physician in the Air Force. Maddie's mom, Crystal, a dentist. Maddie will be featured on Gerber's social media channels and marketing campaigns throughout the year. Her family gets a $25,000 prize, free Gerber products for up to a year, and new clothes by Gerber's children's wear. Not bad. From something cute to something smelly. The Amazon spheres in downtown Seattle getting a lot of attention because of this. This is a blooming corpse flower. The plants only bloom every 5 to 10 years on average, and they're known for giving off a smell like rotting flesh. The blooms last 48 hours, the peak viewing time during the first 24 hours. This flower actually has a name, Morticia. Started blooming Wednesday night. All viewings were booked Thursday as visitors poured in to watch. Morticia first bloomed in late October of 2018. All right, pets do funny things. We all know that. Not all of those get immortalized with a picture, though. Here are some of the best that did. The finalists for this year's comedy pet photos: a cat performing his best victory pose, a dog leaping through the air, another dog jumping headfirst into the sand, a cat sticking their tongue out. That's the dog in the sand there. The 24 finalists will be judged by a panel of expert animal lovers. The winner will be announced August 11th, but you also have a chance to vote for the People's Choice Award. You can cast your favorite finalists at comedypetphoto.com. Good luck to all the contestants. We'll be right back. That does it for the 6 o'clock. See you back here on the Night Beat at 10.